What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today we are going to talk about Koko fighting one very difficult stage here right now, floor 271, just to demonstrate what she can do for our team. Her main thing is to make your team really tanky on top of your regular healers. So she provides us with an extra layer of survivability with first a skill effect and now those shields that you can see, the brownish light brown shields, and making our team basically invincible for certain periods of time and then just very tanky through very big shields. And that includes not only our normal heroes but also our summoned heroes. So she will give your entire team a whole nother layer of survivability. One of the best heroes in my opinion in the game. So let's hop into her skill set and check this out. Starting off with her active that we already saw, it's called Full Energy. Keep that in mind. It can be a bit confusing later on during her skills, because when they are referring to full energy, they actually mean this skill. Koko inspires herself and all allies, grants them a 45% damage reduction, which will be upgraded with the level of this skill for 12 seconds, and the reduced damage will be recorded. This refers of course to the remaining damage after it has been reduced, and settled once as true damage when the skill duration ends. You will see that in a fight, that you will see this white number pop up once her skill ends, and that will indeed damage your hero. So that is a bit of a threat, but for those 12 seconds you will take vastly less damage. You will be very tanky, and this of course gives your team a great bit of survivability, a great way to actually get to an ultimate skill to maybe kill off the enemy team before your team even comes into any peril. And then when the skill takes effect, allies gain 30 life drain and 10% attack. Later on upgrade to 35 and then even to 40 life drain. And life drain is a pretty cool stat, because, well, what that really does, we can see it somewhere here, I think. Okay, it's not listed here. I thought, oh, there it is. Every point of life drain restores HP equal to 1% of the actual damage dealt. So basically your allies will heal themselves by dealing damage to the enemy, which is of course very nice in a boss fight for increased survivability, also, or in a situation like Trial of Abyss, as we just saw. So very valuable skill. The 10% attack, of course, nice even in any boss fight if you go for high numbers, or especially in any world boss fight. We saw her in all world boss fight right now. Only the really tanky, really high resonance teams survive without her, because we have this time space of the 12 seconds and that we can still do damage while the boss is supposed to lead us. So that is really her whole value there. Then we have her second skill, Fulfilling Feast. Koko feeds the weakest ally, healing them by 230% HP and granting them 10% attack. The attack buff, I mean, it is nice. It is on the weakest ally though. Weakest defined in this game by the lowest HP ratio. So an ally that has 20% of HP left will be preferred over one that has 30% of HP left, no matter the real value. So keep that in mind. Always, most often, the weakest ally is not really your damage dealer. If that is the case, most likely you are in a bit of a problematic situation. But oftentimes it is just either your tank or some squishier hero that got hit. But if it's your damage dealer, of course, 10% attack buff again. Very nice. And Koko also feeds Pato, which is this guy. I have no idea what that is. Giant bison. I don't know. I looked it up. I checked if the latest news there were some iron claws or something mentioned, but it's not that. This guy looks entirely different. It's Pato. So yeah, and recovers 350% HP every 15 seconds, increasing 20 energy on hit for 7 seconds. So that basically gives her a bit of energy. Pretty nice. And then we have Pato Smash. Koko throws a mighty spear at the target, dealing 210% damage and increasing that damage taken by 10%, mighty buff for any boss fight, in the next 5 seconds. If there is an enemy within her adjacent tiles, so 1 tile range, Pato will smash the ground, dealing 210% damage to adjacent enemies, nice AoE hit, and stunning them for 3 seconds. So we have a bit of CC going on there. And of course this is leveled up also by just getting her to a higher resonance level. And then we have her Next skill, the Hero Focus, increases haste by 12 during battle. Doesn't seem too impactful. Haste is a nice skill though, let's check that out. Haste is actually this skill. Every point of haste increases the frequency of the unit's normal attacks and skills by 1%. The attack animation speed by 1%. So actually we can attack more often, thereby generating more energy as well. So we get our ult a bit earlier. Pretty nice, upgrade that. Just will cost you a bit of title essence, is definitely worth it, so very nice. Now for the stuff that we get at Mythic Plus, her exclusive equipment, Fluffy Shield, which is this thing, which does look nothing like a shield. It is a spear, I don't know why it's called Fluffy Shield. But the skill effect is a shield. So, after the damage recorded in full energy, which is the main skill, the ultimate, keep that in mind, has been settled, all allies gain a shield for 7 seconds that can absorb damage equal to 15% of the total damage dealt by allies affected by full energy when it's active. Let's check that out in a fight again. So we're still in Trial of Abyss, and this time around, make sure you check out for her active skill, for her ultimate. I will slow down the fight a little bit. I hope we get to that point, because we get hit quite a lot already. So now we get her ultimate, and you can see the little symbol under our allies. That is her skill. That is her skill in full duration. You can see the timer going down there for the 12 seconds. Once that is done to 0, we will see the shields if we reach that point, because right now we're getting pretty hit. And there is the shield. This shield is the shield you only get once you hit Mythic Plus. Right now this couldn't really save us, because well, that is a pretty offensive enemy team with Shaki and everything. But doesn't matter, I just want to show you guys those shields. And those shields can be very, very good. And they will also be on all of your summoned heroes, which is very, very important. If you do a summoning build, maybe with something like Florabelle, all of her minions will have the shield as well. Or the minions summoned by Cessia, for example. So those will become very, very tanky and quite the problem for your enemy to remove. For me personally, well, the first skill, the first point here that we see, that is of course what you unlock initially at Supreme Plus. I recommend you immediately upgrade to +5, because we just get another 20% shield value, which is just nice to have and pretty great. The +10 skill upgrade is very good for PvP actually, removes all allied heroes' control effects when casting full energy, so our ultimate gaining 20 resilience when the skill takes effect. And well, removing all control effects is nice against teams like the Iron comp, where we have Arden controlling us, Iron controlling us. It's just a one-time remove though, so doesn't really move it for the future. We gain 20 resilience though, which is even upgraded to 30 resilience at 15. If you don't know what resilience is, also it is in those stats. It is another stat. And it says every point of resilience reduces the duration of most debuffs inflicted on the unit by 1%. So basically, with this understanding, we can see with 20 resilience, we get 20% less debuff duration. With 30 resilience is 30% less debuff duration. So all those debuffs the enemies throw at us will stick for less time. I mean, right now, I don't really think it's too great. Once we get more sources of resilience though, we might look at some debuff immunity. Because once you get 100 resilience, you're essentially debuff immune, because any single debuff that your heroes gain will immediately be removed. So that will be certainly interesting. For that I would keep in mind. For PvE, I don't think you need it. I don't think it's worth it to go +5, maybe +8 for the stats, but +5 for the skill is absolutely enough. I kept mine at that level. Probably won't upgrade her to +10 or +15 anytime soon. Now for the Supreme Plus ability, and that is increase the target's vitality by 25 for 6 seconds after Koko feeds them using Fulfilling Feast. Fulfilling Feast is this ability, feeds the weakest ally, we talked about it. So the weakest ally that she feeds also gains 25 vitality. What is vitality? Back to our stats once again. So, vitality is this stat. It means every point of vitality increases the effectiveness of the unit's received shields and healing by 1%. This applies to self-heals. So, in general, this just means that this weakest ally is healed more efficiently. Can be quite nice in a situation where we already lost vitality or are debuffed, for example, from the beer boss. Also, we can just heal our ally a bit faster, and if we consider shield generation, well, we have a source of shield on this hero if we have her Mythic Plus, so that is also a very nice combination in that sense, and I would recommend you get her to Supreme Plus. It isn't quite that important though. It is nice to have, it is not like this enables her to work. I absolutely recommend Mythic Plus though. Those shields have been a huge change for me. Like once I had those and fought the Wolf boss, that was at the time when I had the Wolf boss and fought that guy. Once I unlocked the shields, I survived way longer. Way longer. It was an absolute blast, absolute big change. So definitely get her to Mythic Plus. She works before, she is great before. Even if you only have a few copies of her, she will be great, she will work. But once you get Mythic Plus, you will notice a steep increase in power. And that is something I would recommend. In terms of teams, I didn't really use her too much in PvP, but I would say we just hop into the arena, buy one attempt, try to build a team. Let's see what we can do. So, starting off, fighting Sane, that is something we can't do. He's in my guild. This guy's in my guild. So, I think Antium is not in my guild. So, we fight Antium. Okay. Not with those guys, though. Is a bit difficult. We kind of have to build more of a Mauler comp, I feel like. Do we use Odie? I think we use Shark here. I can see Shark here. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Let's do that. Who else do we want to use? Wraec. Oh, I love Wraec. I love Wraec. I don't necessarily have to go for so much synergy here. Maybe even go for Smokey. Dance against Smokey PvP. Then again, I mean, Smokey for the heal is kind of nice. Certainly is kind of nice. And then we get true damage as well. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. Odie, now the question is Odie or do we go Antandra? I mean, Antandra is also cool for the damage reduction and is quite the insane combination. For this enemy, I kind of want to go Antandra. Let's go on Chandra, keep Wraec on the side here. We can move Koko absolutely to the back. And if I find my Smokey, well then we can play Smokey up in here. I think this will be quite good. So let's just see and try and see if a full Mauler comp can work. I never tried that. We're fighting a bit of the meta comp here, of course. So we'll see if that has any chance to work out. We don't really have a whole lot of weapon levels. That is something I should probably notice. Ooh, the Iron, of course, getting the ult before us. Not that great. We're getting our Smokey ult now. Probably the aura isn't even that bad. Activating our shields on this. And Wraec now with her ultimate. Wraec, an absolute monster if you've never faced her. People overlook Wraec. Ooh, Skull Eater coming down. And I think we will need one more ult from Smokey to close this deal. Otherwise, this will be a bit of a problem. I think we're now taking big damage. Smokey activating blue circle. Is that still enough? Is it still enough? I think we can win with the shield. Shield is activated. Cleaning up the Thorin there. Sharky doing that. We're getting another active from Smokey. And we killed it, and that is a win with full team. Easy going, come on. Okay, the full Mauler team here, fighting against pretty much the meta comp. Of course, I mean, look at that Carolina with the 4 million damage trying to clear us up. But that is just tankiness that we built there with Antandra, with Smokey, with Koko. You can see that Shark here coming up, and Wraec for the big damage. Wraec, an absolute unit. I think one of my next reviews will be about her. Every time I see her, it's like absolutely crazy. Probably used the wrong gender again, did I? Last time I used the wrong gender for Wraec. And I was told it's a dude. It's a dude. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I have no idea. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you had a good time. Maybe try out Koko if you haven't already. And with that, I wish you a great day. And we will see us in the next one.